Today we will share our picks for the 15 best horror movies of the last 5 years. Every year, moviegoers look forward to seeing what new releases will be available. From clever comedies to romantic dramas that make people swoon, each genre usually has at least one superb film. Horror enthusiasts understand the distinction between a guilty pleasure film and one that is new, truly terrifying, and worth alerting friends and family about. Many horror films have gotten people talking in the last 5 years because they offered fascinating stories and went above and beyond standard fare. Horror lovers are happy with the several releases in 2022, with viewers enjoying Smile, Pearl, Halloween Ends, and Hellraiser only in the fall months. It's exciting to consider the most engaging horror movies that have come out in the last 5 years, and here are our selections. Number 1, The Witch. The film is set in New England in the 1600s and follows a young woman who is accused of witchcraft when her baby sibling goes missing in the woods and she is the only one who finds him. The village's anxiety grows as no one knows who to trust or what mysterious creatures may be lurking in the woods. Number 2, Halloween. While the 2018 film isn't as well crafted as the first, it's still an enjoyable nostalgic watch with all the amazing eerie vibes of the evening of October 31st. Number 3, Hereditary. Hereditary's ending was foretold, and it's safe to assume that everybody who saw it was horrified. I've seen it so many times that I don't think I'll ever see it again, yet it's already a classic. It has it all: excellent performances, genuine scares, twists, and moments that are difficult to ignore. While there are many excellent horror films, Hereditary is genuinely unforgettable. Number 4, Green Room. Green Room is another contender for one of the best horror films of the last 5 years. If a decent horror film centers on characters who find themselves in a terrible position or location, Green Room fits the bill. The film, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2015 but was not released theatrically until 2016, follows the story of a punk band that discovers a dead corpse in a club frequented by neo-Nazis. While they obviously want to leave right away, this is not possible, and the film remains horrific throughout. Pat, one of the musicians, was played by the late Anton Yelchin, who co-starred with Alia Shawkat. Number 5, Get Out. Jordan Peele's film is widely regarded as a masterpiece, with Chris discovering that his fiancée Rose's family is malevolent. The film explores racism and serves as both a horror film with unexpected twists and a social critique. Everything, from the performers to the dialogue, is flawless. As Rose's parents, Catherine Keener and Bradley Whitford provide rich performances, and they're particularly effective at presenting hospitality with a menacing undertone. Number 6, His House. His House, a Netflix horror film, is extremely well crafted. I hope this receives the attention it deserves. It presently has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and, for once, lives up to the hype. The film bases its terror on the refugee experience, following a couple who flee Sudan for England. They're haunted by what they had to do to escape. Remy Weeks wrote and directed His House. Number 7, Tragedy Girls. Tragedy Girls is a new type of teen horror film that was released in 2017. Instead of focusing on high school students fleeing a masked attacker, the two main characters plunge into the nightmare. I believe this is the best horror film of the decade so far. It's like a modern Scream, but Sydney is the murderer. Sadie and Michaela are so obsessed with crime that they start murdering people in order to get more social media followers. This is not only a brilliant premise for a horror film since it is so unexpected, but it also remarks on how addicted individuals can become to becoming popular on social media. Number 8, The Invisible Man. One of the best is The Invisible Man, and this 2020 film stars Elizabeth Moss as a woman trapped in an abusive relationship. This is the most recent film to feature the well-known H.G. Wells horror persona. The opening scene, in which Cecilia leaves her mansion in the middle of the night, is worth seeing on its own. There are numerous frightening scenes in The Invisible Man, and it's the type of situation that viewers will watch while holding their breath, unsure what's about to happen and how bad things will get. The entire film is intellectual and frightening, with a lot to say about abuse and terror. Number 9, The Night House. When Beth ventures into the woods near her lake house and finds a similar cottage, her grief over her husband Owen's death becomes even more intense. Owen left a message that said, "You're safe now," and Beth is desperate to figure out what he meant. The film is well executed and a fantastic illustration of how to solve a riddle in a few hours. Number 10, Werewolves Within. This film is funnier than some of the others that have been recommended, which helps it stand out. Werewolves Within is about the citizens of Beaverfield, Vermont, who help one another during terrible winter weather and discover that a werewolf has escaped from their seemingly normal, adorable village. The characters are endearing, and the film is more silly than scary, but it still stands out. Number 11, We're All Going to the World's Fair. We're All Going to the World's Fair is a 2021 fan favorite. The film follows Casey, a high school student who exclaims, "I want to go to the World's Fair," 3 times into the mirror, similar to the famous Bloody Mary legend. As Casey's creepiness grows, the film concentrates solely on 2 individuals, as Casey begins conversing with someone dubbed JLB. The film has a lot to say about becoming engrossed in online culture and the desire to be hip. Number 12, Mandy. Red Miller, played by Nicolas Cage, believes he will continue to live a normal, peaceful life with his love Mandy Bloom, but when she is kidnapped by a gang, his plans are dashed. While the plot is intriguing, horror aficionados admire Mandy the most for Cage's portrayal of a man who goes to any length to help the one he loves. The film also has a distinct, artistic tone. Number 13, Fear Street Trilogy. It's fantastic that each picture is like its own subgenre, with the first being a shadyside slasher, the second set at Camp Nightwing, and the third telling a witchcraft story. The 3 linked films focus on the town's terrifying history, the main characters' camaraderie, and Cindy and Ziggy's sibling bond before tragedy struck. Number 14, The Lodge. The Lodge is a favorite among horror fans thanks to its overwhelmingly creepy premise. Mia and Aidan Hall are still mourning the death of their mother, Laura, when their father, Richard, commits to Grace Marshall and wants the family to spend the holidays at a rural property. Grace's behaviors become troubling and end up being more terrible than the kids anticipated. Number 15, Ready or Not. While hide and seek is typically intended for children, it becomes a perilous way to spend the evening in this terrifying film. Grace is played by Samara Weaving, and Daniel, Grace's husband's brother, is played by Adam Brody. Grace has recently married into a family that is physically trying to kill her as part of a ritual to maintain their family wealthy and prosperous. Well, there you have our picks for the 15 best horror movies of the last 5 years. Thanks for watching and be sure to check out these related videos you may enjoy.